Hello YouTube, Vlogger Eric's Rants here, and this week is my 5-video summary of RWW Blog's top 5 crazies of 2018. In this segment we feature Rick Wiles, Alex Jones, Liz Crocken, Sebastian Gorka, Katie Hopkins and Stefan Molyneux. So here are some timestamps if you want to go to the clips of each individual one, since I'm going to be providing commentary on this 5, giving a few thoughts as well as going over bits of the articles. Now, to be clear, while I do like what RWW Blog does, I do disagree with them on a few things that may or may not come up in future videos. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. So, our first one is right back in February the 6th, 2018. Sebastian Gorka. More specifically, his then new show with The Rebel, a far-right Canadian show. By the way, his videos don't seem to get very many views. 10,000 to 15,000 views on a channel with over 1 million subs. I checked that myself. So let's see what Gorka has to say in his announcement about his new show.
As somebody who worked in the White House as a deputy assistant to President Trump and helped untangle the latest reports coming out of Congress in Washington about what all of this means. Number one, let's remember, Russia mucking around in other people's democratic elections isn't a new phenomenon. In fact, you can say they've been doing it for 100 years, since the Russian Revolution of 1917 that created the Soviet Union. That's what they do. And let's not forget that the current president of Russia is a former KGB colonel, and the KGB is exactly the organ that would have been doing that. So to say this is a new phenomena is, of course, ridiculous. But were Russian agents in trench coats really stuffing voting ballots into ballot boxes across America? Of course not. What do we know? We know that a former MI6 intelligence officer, Christopher Steele, was paid a lot of money to compile an opposition research dossier on candidate Donald Trump, full of salacious stories you'd find in a Penny Dreadful novel, stories that we now know actually came from Russian government assets, disinformation stories that were used by the Democrats to undermine candidate Donald Trump. This was so important to them that Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party paid more than $12 million for that dossier. Not bad work if you can get it. But that's not where the story ends. The federal government later used the same dossier and actually paid money to Christopher Steele, allegedly just for expenses, but that's enough. And that completely fabricated set of allegations was used in a secret court, the FISA court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court, to obtain warrants against the members of the Trump campaign, Carter Page and others.
So remember, Gorka was a part of the Trump administration but was ousted around the time Bannon left to rejoin Breitbart. Bannon briefly was joined by Sebastian Gorka, but Gorka's influence died away when Bannon was forced out of Breitbart. And now we go on to what he said. So first off, he talks about the Russian Revolution, how Russia has been interfering in the US elections apparently since 1917. Kinda true, maybe. Doesn't go back as far as Sebastian Gorka says it does. I mean, many countries have been influencing elections. Israel has been probably since it was created. That's just one example. Turkey has done influences as well. And Russia probably has as well. The US has stuffed it with elections as well since World War II. Again, at least in the US, though not as far back as 1917. He is right that Vladimir Putin was a KGB agent, though. There's no easy connection between the KGB and interference in elections. Next up, Sebastian Gorka makes a straw man of the Russian interference in the 2016 election claims. Russian operatives did not literally stuff the ballot boxes, but there was hacking of the DNC, though those transcripts should have been released anyway, but there was interference, mainly through dirty deals involving Donald Trump Jr. trying to get dirt on Hillary and the dissemination of fake news through Twitter and Facebook. Now we move on to the Russian dossier. Allegations of misconduct and conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia during 2016 elections. Note, there are unverified assertions in this. The intel community is treating it with caution. Some of the allegations are corroborated and some are unverified, though overall, at the moment, none of it has been conclusively disproved. Full disclosure, I don't believe too much of it myself, and Gorka's allegations about the dossier are, by and large, bullshit. Now for his final claim about all the rubbish written about Trump. Well, at least from CNN, yeah, there was quite a lot of shit made about him. There are some truths, honestly, though. You kind of got to go on a case-by-case basis with those claims about Trump and not fall into either extreme. By the way, Gorka, Trump's a snowflake. He's triggered by words. He sued Bill Maher over a joke. He tried to sue The Onion over a satire piece. He wants US free speech laws more like the disastrous UK laws. He's a thin-skinned buffoon. He's just an idiot. I honestly think, a combination of narcissistic personality disorder and possibly a degree of dementia means Trump doesn't really register too much with the shit that some of the media says. So, the first one's done. Now we move on to number 2. Alex Jones. Donald Trump is fighting a computer program that has decided to kill humans. Oh boy, here we go. This is from the 4th of May 2018, and honestly, I think we should just play the clip.
Operating under is a collage of chaos tactics. So many stories that happen multiple times a day, over the weeks, over the years, that you cannot focus or keep up with anything.
Information apocalypse. Information apocalypse.
100%. What Roger just did and what we do on InfoWars all the time is tied together in a perpetual timeline that's all tied together. Because, you can focus on one story.
They want to keep you in the moment confused. I mean, that's what Gruber said. It's all about confusing us, fog of war. But we've got the enemy battle map. We're not even looking at what they're projecting. We've got their battle map, and that's what they hate.
Exactly. This is so we could say, like, this is not about Mars. Excuse me. This is not about Iran. This is about Mars. Meaning, this is about attacking Elon, attacking the human evolution, attacking where we're going, playing this other game.
This is already an AI system that made the decision to have a post-human world, and Trump has jumped in with others and are saying, no, we're not doing it at the elite level.
Oh, none of this happens in a vacuum. None of this happens in singular movements. This is all connected. We've already forgotten about Vegas. They roll Parkland out. So what happened to Vegas? That just is unsolved. No big deal. We know what happened to do with the Saudis. Now they're having firefights there in Saudi Arabia, and it's going to get us into war with Iran.
And they don't want us to question the next false flag. That's what they're really pissed about. It's why they said I said Parkland didn't happen when I didn't say that.
So, just a quick note, this is back when I was still mocking Sticks Hex and Amma 666 for his comment about Jim Baker being more rational than the editors of Right Wing Watch. I did that for about 4 or 5 months after he posted that unbelievably stupid comment. Anyway, I can tell you now, Alex Jones, we do not have Skynet. There is no evidence you have for that claim. It is just unsupported assertions pulled out of your ass. So you know what? I'll apply Hitchens' razor here. Since Alex Jones asserted something without evidence, I can just dismiss what Alex Jones asserted without any evidence. Now, maybe in the distant future, could we get something like Skynet? Dunno, maybe, if humans don't destroy themselves first. But right now, that is just not the case. And anyone notice how quickly Alex changes subjects here? Firstly, he talks about information apocalypse. Basically, the elites want people confused in the modern day. He then goes on to claim Trump is trying to stop a rogue AI. Then he finishes with a comment about global elites, the Jews, being pissed at InfoWars for questioning false flags. Of course, this is InfoWars, so everything's a conspiracy, every tragedy is a false flag, unless it supports Alex's worldview. And even then, some of those are false flags. Anyway, moving on to number 3. Number 3. Liz Crocken blames her surfing injury on a spell... Number 3. Liz Crocken blames her surfing injury on a spell cast by Hillary Clinton from the 29th of August 2018. Yes, you heard that right. Liz Crocken continuing with her constant conspiracy theorizing about Hillary Clinton. Now let's be clear here. I hate Hillary Clinton, hence the use of Shillery, and I hate having to defend her. But you know what? I've got to do what I've got to do. So let's just play this clip.
At least the pain will be temporary. So anyways, no one's threatening me, you guys, you know, in this respect. No one cut off my fingers. Unfortunately, it was just a freak accident. I mean, if there's anything that happened to me that's related, is that these people that I expose engage in witchcraft. You know, the people like Marina Abramovic, the people like Hillary Clinton, and for the deep state articles that are getting ready to like write like a hit piece on me right now. Well, look it up. Look it up. Do research on Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and their trip to Haiti, and how, I think it was their honeymoon, they admitted to doing voodoo there together. You know, research Marina Abramovic. Like, she talks about the rituals she does. She's an occultist. You know, all these people dabble in witchcraft and spirit cooking. So, you know, do these people, like, do witchcraft against me? Like, of course they do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were, like, casting spells on me the night before. So yeah, I'm sure that the headline tomorrow will be like, oh, conspiracy theorist Liz Crokin says her fingers got chopped off because, you know, Hillary Clinton casted a spell on her. Well, these people do engage in witchcraft. They do cast spells on people. I mean, Hillary Clinton went to a witches' coven in New York not too long ago, and on their own Instagram page, they identify as a witches' coven. It's like not a secret. So anyways, so yeah, I'm sure that, you know, there's like some spiritual stuff going on.
Yeah, Liz is one of those people who will blame literally everything bad that happened to them on Hillary Clinton. Look, I have no love for Hillary Clinton. I absolutely despise her. But she is not a witch. Magical curses and hexes and spells do not exist, Liz. We do not live in the Harry Potter universe. Occam's razor. It was a freak accident that took off the tips of your fingers after that wave crashed into your surfboard, ripping the rope out of your hand. Not a deep state, satanic, cannibalistic pedophile cult that somehow seems to think, what shall I do next? I know, I shall rip a rope out of Liz Crocken's hand and take a chunk out of her fingers. Mwahaha! And, by the way, just a note, when Liz says do research, she means be as gullible as I am and believe every piece of nonsense conspiracy theory bullshit about Hillary Clinton that you can find. It really is pathetic that Liz truly does blame Hillary Clinton for literally everything that goes wrong with her. But hey, unfortunately, there are a lot of people on the right who won't shut the fuck up about her. Not helped by Hillary not fucking off. Same with Obama too. I swear both of these people could have been dead for a century and right-wingers would still be ranting about them. Anyway, moving on to number 4. Katie Hopkins. Multiculturalism means that we all die together from the 2nd of April 2018. So this is Katie Hopkins on Stephen Molyneux's show, both of them being far-right nut jobs. The former's a white nationalist, while the latter's a sympathiser to white nationalism. Again, I think we should just jump straight into the stupidity and racism.
I remember back in the day this whole idea of diversity. We're going to get lots of people from all over the world, different religions, different perspectives, different ideas, and it's going to be this wonderful bubbling conversation. It's going to really enrich everyone with lots of different perspectives. But kind of the way that it played out, funny story, that did not happen. What happened was, well, this group's offended by this, and this group's offended by this, and this group's offended by this, so you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say the other. And the most aggressive groups tend to get their way, and the nicest, most pleasant, most rational, most abstract groups tend to get plowed under. And it really was almost the exact opposite of what was promised.
I think so. I think multiculturalism, when I think of the definition of it now, multiculturalism means that we all die together. And one of the things that sickens me is after a jihadi attack in the UK on our bridge or on our parliament or on our daughters in Manchester as a year ago today nearly, they say, well, you know, 3 Muslims also died in the attack, as if that kind of makes it okay. You know, multiculturalism means they get blown up too. So therefore, someone like me, a Christian conservative, has no right to complain because look, right there, lying there without their legs and arms, that's a Muslim. So therefore, we're all in this together. Well, you know, that's never been my understanding of how we improve a society, that we, you know, embrace everybody so we all get blown up together. Like that doesn't work. The one pertinent line that always really stands out for me, I went to Sweden to the no-go zones, and a fireman there in the toughest fire station in Sweden said, He was building a bigger fence around the fire station because the migrants were attacking the trucks, stealing the cutting equipment, stealing the fuel from the fire engines. And I said to him, is this the future for Sweden? We're going to build taller walls to keep people out. And he said, no, we're going to build more walls to keep the things that we love safe. And I wonder about that whole thing about our walls to keep people out or our walls to keep the people we love in. Is that the new model? And in many ways, apartheid in itself was a wall. It was a way of dividing two types of people. So I don't know with the wall thing, but I do think walls to keep people in. I can see us moving to gated communities in Eastern Europe as we move across.
So they kind of sort of start off sort of reasonable, talking about, at least in part, legitimate free speech issues in the UK, or at least references them. And yes, there are free speech issues in the UK. I have done a video on it. Now here's where this stupid quote comes in. Multiculturalism means we all die together. That's not what multiculturalism means. The definition of multicultural, well, maybe not multiculturalism, but multicultural is something that incorporates ideas, beliefs, or people from many different countries and cultural backgrounds. When people with different cultures come together to celebrate and share their different traditions, this is an example of a multicultural celebration. So multiculturalism will basically be just a belief in that. Now, there are multiple types of multiculturalism, and the US model works the best. Which is the melting pot model. It works better than the Australian model, which from what I've seen seems to be a mix between the US and European views, and I do prefer the US melting pot idea. She also strawmans proponents of multiculturalism as if no Christians are allowed to complain about being blown up because a Muslim got blown up too. We're not getting blown up together, and I don't like using this word, Islamophobic bullshit. It's not just Muslims who bomb shit, so do Zionists and Christians. And if you want to complain about Christians getting blown up, I guess. Though a lot of you tend to put Christians on a higher pedestal than the others. Like you want to particularly focus on them, on the Christians being blown up, which is frankly pathetic. And finally, to top off this pile of racist dog shit, she compares apartheid South Africa to building a wall to protect yourself. Again, race baiting, and considering recent developments in regards to Stefan, I honestly hope you two do move to Eastern Europe. They'd love you there. And when it comes to walls, sometimes good walls can make good neighbours, but not in this instance. If we keep the melting pot idea of multiculturalism, not Katie's white nationalist strawman of multiculturalism, then it will be culturally enriching. Just so long as we vet the people arriving carefully. And finally, I left the worst to last. Number 5. And number 5 is Rick Wiles attacks Ben Shapiro for rejecting false flag theories, being Jewish, quote, has the spirit of Antichrist, from the 26th of October 2018. I'm just going to play this shit. I really don't want to have to, but I have to defend Ben Shapiro on this one.
But not all conservatives are questioning that this could be a false flag. One prominent pseudo-conservative, Ben Shapiro. Let me tell you what little Ben said. He said that he's condemning the false flag theories. He said, quote, if your first reaction to some evil person sending bombs to a variety of politicians on one side of the aisle is false flag, you are officially deranged.
Right.
Ben Shapiro, why are there any Christians listening to Ben Shapiro? Why are there any conservatives listening to Ben Shapiro? First of all, as a Christian, you need to know this. Ben Shapiro openly denies the deity of Jesus Christ. He says as a Jew, he has no reason to need a Christian Savior. Those are his words.
Yes.
Okay? I don't know why any Christian is reading and following Ben Shapiro. He has a spirit of Antichrist.
Rick, Ben Shapiro is the definition of a conservative, you fucktard. Oh, jeez. He is a conservative. He is the definition of a conservative Republican. But of course, why do you hate him? Well, it's because he rejects false flag theories, and because he's Jewish. And because you're an anti-Semitic piece of shit. Quote, he has a spirit of Antichrist, is anti-Semitism 101. This is such a horrid attack on Ben Shapiro. And this is all because, again, Ben Shapiro rejects the conspiracy theory about the bombs that were sent to George Soros, CNN, and a bunch of high-ranking Democrats being false flags. That Kyle Kalinske of Secular Talk, of all people, jumped in and defended Ben Shapiro. When you've got Kyle Kalinske defending Ben Shapiro, you know you're a fucking insane nutjob. Unbelievable. The dude who did it, Cesar Altieri Sayoc Jr., is a registered Republican who has filmed himself wearing a MAGA hat, who is known for his extreme views and his frequent posting of pro-Trump and anti-liberal messages and memes. His van, when it was captured, was covered in pictures of Donald Trump and Mike Pence, as well as stickers on the van which showed Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, liberal documentarian Michael Moore, liberal CNN commentator and host Van Jones, and 2016 Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein with gun sight crosshair designs on their faces. He has done huge amounts of research on Moore. There were letter bomb making material in his van, and he had a hit list of over 100 people, and conservatives are claiming this is a false flag. Absolute bullshit. And this was not the first time he's made threats. He's threatened to kill Ilya Somin and his family and feed their bodies to the alligators. Absolutely disgusting. So, you're wondering why there's an alliance between the Zionists and Christian fundies? Because of biblical prophecy, of course. Once all the land of Israel's end times happen, God comes back and massacres most of the Jews. Yeah. But every now and then, that mask slips, and you hear what they really think. So, those are, in my view, the top 5 right-wing watch blog crazies of 2018. Come back in a few days where I'll go over the crazy shit of the week. That is the end of my video. I hope you found it interesting. Please rate, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a great day, everyone.